Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Hey, and welcome back to the iLife Academy Coaching Podcast. This is Abdul Shahid, and we are on episode 29. We are actually going to be talking about life coaching and business coaching. A bit of both today. We're actually focusing in on something that affects you across the board in all areas of life, in fact, and that is how to live your goals. And let me explain. You see, if you're into self-development, if you're into creating the best possible life for yourself, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be, but if you're into that, then you know already that goal setting is essential in getting things done. But here's the thing. You know, when I'm coaching people, when I'm training my life coaches, what I find all of the time is that people struggle with goal setting. And, you know, there's some pretty good reasons for why they struggle with it. One of the biggest ones, if not the biggest, is the fear of failure. I mean, have you ever set yourself a goal where it was so scary that you actually just put it aside and say, no, that's not possible? You see, goal setting with massive goals that scare the daylights out of you is what most people are not willing to do. And I get it. You know, you don't want to fail. You don't want to feel that pain. You don't want to, beat yourself up. You don't want to feel like a failure or a loser or whatever it is that you say to yourself when you fail. This is, probably the biggest reason. But I want to talk to you about a different way of looking at goals. Not so much about the future, not so much about what you really want to bring into your life, but I want to talk to you about how you can create the life that you want in the future and now, and really put the fear aside or smash the fear. Because the thing is, if you have actually gone through life trying to achieve things and you've failed multiple times, well, hello, welcome to the human race. That's what we all do. We all fail our way through lives. That's how every single human being is living their lives, but they don't see it that way. And the only reason you and I struggle with it is when we see it that way. When we see it that way, it becomes a real problem. It becomes an obstacle. And then you're looking for ways to get over your obstacles. But really, hey, let's be real. This is something that's going on inside of you. And that is the most profound realization I've ever had. Because when you realize that it's actually going on inside of you, then you have the power to actually change it. And so we're going to talk about how you can do that in this short podcast. So let me just, as I clear my throat, goals are great, yes. And this is what I'm saying to you. Goals are great, and I live them. That's right. I didn't say I love them. I mean, I do love goals, but I didn't say I love them. I said I live them. You see, the goals you focus on is the wrong focus, because it's out there somewhere in the future. I love the future, don't get me wrong, when I imagine what it's going to be like. But I do all the imagining right now. And that's something that it's so important to realize. If I spend my whole life living in an imagined future that I'm hoping for, it will feel great till I wake up to the reality that I don't actually have that future now. So what really matters is that I live that goal now. And that's super important. Bring it in right into the present and enjoy this very moment. Everyone keeps going on about, be present, live in the now. Well, yeah, it's true. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, I mean, when else are you going to live? So let's be real about what's going on. Let's be real about living in reality now. But let's not think of it in such a way that, reality right now is like the worst thing in the world. The way, look, the way we do this is embrace the current moment as the best moment you're ever going to experience right now. Like, this is the best it's ever going to be right now. That's what I want you to understand. It's always going to be amazing like this moment. And if it's not amazing, then you're not thinking about it in that way. You're not thinking as though your life is, something amazing right now. And I see this all the time. You see, you and I both know that the biggest dissatisfaction is how people don't accept their current moment. They don't accept their current moment because they have built up this big story in their minds about how this moment is the worst moment in the world, or this moment is terrible, or this moment is dull. This moment in time is not how they want it to be. So think about this question. Think about this statement. If only life could be ... You fill in the blank there. If only life could be, what would you fill it in with? If only life could be like X, Y, Z. If only life could be like so-and-so's life. If only life could be, or if only I could have in my life. So fill in the blank and answer that question. Or make a statement there. And allow yourself to see what your mind is filling that gap with. Don't hold it back. Don't judge yourself. Just allow yourself to see what your mind is filling that gap with. If only is an imaginary world. And what I mean by that is that it's something that's being created in your mind. And if you can't get past that and into reality, then this is the reason why you struggle. It's one of those things, it's the one thing that just grows with the amount of thought you give it. That imaginary world. Think about it. Make that statement in your mind. If only life could be, what does your mind go to end that statement with? If only I could have, how does your mind finish that statement? Pause this and actually make those statements, say those things, and see how your mind answers that. If you stay in the future, an imagined future, or you stay in the past, an imagined past. And what I mean by that, imagined, is that your mind is bringing back the past into the present. It's not actually real right now, but it's bringing it back into the present. And you imagine it to be real right now. And that's why we have the feelings that we have, because of those thoughts that we're imagining. If you live in the past or you live in the future, then it doesn't serve you. But if you actually want to achieve goals in life, you have to love where you are right now. Love the plainness of life now. Love the simplicity of life. Love the boringness of life. Love it just the way it is. Because that is the way reality is. And if you can love that, you can actually build anything you want on that. Because that's reality. Reality is something that you can love. And really, that will help you with your love of Allah. Because you will be loving the blessings and appreciating the current moment, the way things are. And if things are like terrible, have a look around Have a look around. Is it something that's, a situation that you're in? Is it something that you can remove yourself from in your mind? Is it something, look, sometimes we're living in a very plain, day-to-day life where things don't, if others around us are telling us that life is great for us, like your life looks great, but you can't see it, then it's usually because we are in this story of our mind, and it's something that's going on, and we're constantly playing it over in our minds, and it creates these horrible feelings, right? And if that's the case, then you can quite easily get yourself out of that. It's a state, if you can love your life, what I'm saying to you is, if you can come back into reality, the reality of the plainness of life, the reality of, you look around and everything is just normal, and the drama is just happening in my mind, then you can come into a state of acceptance, a state of enjoying your current state of life. And that will give you the love of life, the love of Allah, the state of gratitude. And that is a state of mind. It's a state of mind, or something, that's often used a lot. It's a mindset. And you can absolutely change the way life is if you love where you are already. You can create your life the way you want it if you can love your life already. But when you struggle to accept it the way it is, then you're staying my guess is, based on the people I've coached and the people I've worked with in a therapeutic manner, like, my guess is that you're staying in the past or you're in the future somewhere. And one of the biggest things about the past or the future is that people, those future imaginations and the past that you're reimagining, both of these things create fear. And fear is what destroys, the goodness of life. Because we decide that we are going to fail in advance, because we decide not to live into our lives right now in the present. And we decide to do that because of the fear. The fear derails us. And you'll find other podcasts on the fear. But look, fear is one of the biggest things that keeps us in the past or the future. And it, it steals the moment. It steals the moment. It takes away the wonderful blessings of the current moment that you already have in your life. Because when you can take away all the drama that's going on in the mind, then you look around and you see there's lots of reasons to be grateful. There's lots of reasons to be happy. And here's the thing. I want to go back to goals. I'm talking about fear because it derails us from our goals. I'm talking about the mind because, when the mind is in the past or the future, it derails us from the present. And the present is where you can make it happen. You can make life happen in the present, but you got to accept it first. So I said, goals are great, but I live them. I love them too, but I live them. And living them can only happen in the present. Living them can only happen in the present. You cannot live your goals in the future, because the future does not exist except in your mind, right? We imagine it, right? We imagine the future and it gives us hope, and that's a great thing. But you got to bring that hope into the present, because that is what will create for you an amazing present. And an amazing present, if you can have, you can have that as much as you can get it, then you're going to have a pretty great and a pretty amazing future. I have to tell you that, I spent many years, and I'm speaking from experience, I spent many years living in the future and losing the present. And I didn't realize it. And life absolutely sucks when you live in the future and you forget the present, because you put off all pleasure, you put off all satisfaction, you put off all happiness for a future moment when you will, achieve those things that you want. And you tell yourself, when I get that, when that happens, then I'll be happy. When that happens, then I'll be content. When that happens, then I will have the life that I want. And that is the biggest deception. I don't know. I don't want to say to you that's the biggest deception Shaitan played on us. But Shaitan, he has a lot to do with what we do. Like all those whisperings, and he just doesn't leave us alone, right? So all those negative thoughts, all those terrible, forecasting that we do, like he has some say in that, right? But the thing is, like, you have the power. You can take it back, and look, you can bring it back into the present. If you live in the present, you live your goals right now. You live your goals right now. So how do you do that? How do you live your goals right now? The simple answer is take action as if that future already exists now, in the making. So I set myself these huge goals that would normally scare the daylights out of myself and derail me. And instead of getting derailed and scared, what do? I start living them as if they already exist now. And when I say exist now, I mean exist in the making. Because life is in the making, right? So what does it look like to live your goals now? That's a really important question to ask. Like, who do you have to be? Who do you have to become to create the life of your dreams right now? If you were living that person's life right now, what would that person be doing? It's the process that you need to focus on, right? So it's those small steps we take every day as a part of the process, the dream in the making. And it can be absolutely beautiful, right? It can be amazing. It could be exhilarating. It could be boring even. But if you are, if you are living that moment, that dream in the making right now, like, you are living the life. Like, the happiness is in the moment. The happiness is in the making. The happiness is not in the result. It's in the making. It's in the process. Like, I can't tell you how much I love to create something great, something big, something amazing. It may not be something big and great and amazing to everyone else, but it is to me, because that's what I've created. That's what I want. So when I have these amazing goals, like these this huge, scary, audacious goals, it forces me to grow. It forces me to become that person. Who is that person that lives that sort of life? Who is the person that creates those sorts of things in the world? And then I just live that life. I just emulate. And that's all you have to do. You just have to decide on it now. And you live the process. Look, let me give it to you in a very simple way. To live your goals in the present moment, all you have to do is actually take action as if you are already that person. Because that person lives their dreams in the making, just like you and I. Except that you and I, we look at them as if they've already got it. So what I would tell you is that you just need to decide who you got to be. You got to decide, how does that person live their day-to-day life with their dream in the making? And then take small, tiny steps to do the same. Make them so small that they're almost, you're almost thinking this will take forever. And hey, so what? So what if it takes forever? You have a lifetime. Create what you want, but live in the moment now. Live your goals in the moment, and you will love your life. You'll be excited every day because you know that you are building dreams. You are building dreams, and you're going to create something that's going to be so amazing. And I tell you, that's exactly the way. That's exactly the way I live. Like, I'm telling you and I'm teaching you exactly what I do, right? My coaches, like, that's exactly what I would teach them, the same thing. And we will take a deep dive into that. See, that's what the coaching certification program is. It's taking all the lessons that I share with you and taking a really, really deep dive and taking it from theory to action, to making it happen, making dreams happen. Because look, even if I'm busy coaching you or coaching others in how to create the most amazing life, in how to serve, how to create legacy, how to create financial freedom, spiritual connection, how to do these things, if I'm focusing on all of those things, the one who benefits the most is me. Because I'm living my dream in the making. I'm making it happen. And you can do exactly the same. You can do exactly the same. You can take a deep dive into your life. Like, have you ever invested the amount of time, money, and energy into yourself? Because this is the most important, the most valuable asset you have. Your mind, your life. Because when you invest in yourself, you invest that time and energy. You invest the money in yourself. And I'm not talking about holidays. I'm not talking about homes and cars. And I'm talking about into your mind. When you do that, it grows you exponentially. Create dreams right now. Live it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. And that's how we create life. Because everything has been given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like you and I, we have the ability to do those things. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and the earth, has given us the ability, has given us all of the resources that we need to make it happen right now. Look around in your life right now, and if you can't see it, it's probably because you're living somewhere in a fearful future or a fearful past or something that's derailing you from the present. Live your goals. That's how you do it. So anyway, and I suggest that, if this is a bit deep, go back and listen to it again. Listen, most of these coaching podcasts that I do, they are a little deep. And I do that on purpose because I want it to absolutely impact your life. I want it to change your life. I want it to give you the possibility of creating whatever you want in your life. That's why I do these. So take it and listen to it again and again and again if you need to. But don't just sit there and listen. Take action. Make it happen. If you want more, go to QuranicConnection.tv and you'll see lots of stuff there. You'll see the podcast, you'll see other short courses, and of course you will see the certification program where I train people to go through that transformation in their lives, where I train them to become coaches, I train them to coach themselves, and I train you to become exponentially free. Free in your time, free in your energy, and free financially. So I'm going to leave you with that. Until the next one. Assalamu alaikum.